Hey guys, how are you doing? In this video, I'll just be talking about, what I've learned from my dad. Well, he's not with me anymore, but what I've learned throughout my life since I was growing up with my dad and how he imparted. Actually, I realized he imparted a lot of knowledge to me. So I'll just go through the things he has taught me. Actually, a lot of people are surprised that I can do this stuff. Actually, I think maybe you might be able to do this stuff too. Anyway, as I was growing up, my dad would always drag me into fixing stuff at home or something to do with the car or something to do with the home, with the plumbing, with electricity, and all these kinds of home stuff. Because my dad was like a carpenter, plumber, sort of electrician, mechanic, sort of, because of everything he's learned throughout his whole life. So I want to just summarize what I've learned from him. So, first thing, one of the things that I've learned is like number one is to change a tire. My dad would drag me along to change the tire and get that, what do you call that? That jack and hoist up the car and change the tires. And I made a mistake before by raising the car right away before removing the nuts of the tire. So that was my first mistake. Anyway, I learned through that mistake, and after changing the tire and doing it a couple of times whenever we have a flat, then when my friends got a flat tire before, I was the one who changed the tire. Oh, and aside from the tire, my gosh, my dad taught me how to go to the, what's that place where you go to have them check whether there's singaw or there's like air coming out. They're gonna vulcanizing shop to check whether there's air coming out. They would take out, if your tire has a inner tube, then you have to get that inner tube out, and then they'll check if there's any holes in the inner tube. And then they would patch that inner tube and then put it back inside. But then there are tires also with no inner tubes. Then they will check the actual rubber of the tire also. And then if there's something like a hole there, then they would put like a patch there on the tire itself inside, right? Usually it's like a tornillo, like a screw, or maybe a tack or something that got in, or even a stone, a very sharp stone that would be the cause of like the flat tire, right? What else is there? Oh, so he also taught me how to change the spark plug of the car, because sometimes you need, sometimes the spark plug is like dirty already. Usually in case it's dirty, you take it out, and then from the car inside, from near the engine, take out the spark plug with this kind of circular device, and then we would dunk it in like gasoline, and then let it set for a while, clean it, and then even with a toothbrush, what I remember, and then let it dry, make sure it completely dries, and then you can use it again, the spark plug. So you don't have to buy a new spark plug, right? But at the same time, if it doesn't work, if your car doesn't work, then you'll have to get a new spark plug. That's the spark plug of the car. It's like way in there. I remember trying to find where the heck is this. How can you get the spark plug out? It's like deep in the engine. And my dad said to use my hands to feel where it is, and then you use that circular cylindrical thing to make sundot on it, and then turn it, and then slowly bring it out. That was stressful. The other thing he taught me with the car is, of course, to like check the oil. This one's kind of easy because you can just see there's like a stick, and you just pull the stick out, and you can tell like if it's full of oil, or you need to put some more oil. So there's that's the place where that stick is totally different from where you're supposed to load the oil, in case your car needs oil, motor oil. And then my dad also taught me how to disconnect the battery or clean the battery electrodes, and then reconnect it. So you have to be careful with this one because you can get electrocuted. So sometimes when we had an old car before, a lot of times there's like kicked up dirt around the electrodes of the car battery. So you need to like clean it with water, with like distilled water, and then brush it and remove the things that connect the battery to the car, and then clean it and then put it back on again. So that's what we would do. At times, you know, when your car, the problem with batteries of cars, that you get discharged because something is still running, and even though you stop the car, like something could be still running. Like if you forget to close the aircon, or if you forget to close the lights or something, then the car battery will be discharged, and you have two choices: either to like recharge your car with another car's battery, right? You have to what do you call that? Use jumper cables to charge the battery for some time. Of course, if you do that with another car, you still have to bring your car to the shop and then have them charge the battery completely to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But a lot of times, that's usually the problem with car batteries. Of course, if the battery is an old battery, then you'll have to go and replace the car battery. There are many times in the past where my dad would take me to this place called Ram Car and replace the battery. Well, they charge there the battery, and then if your car is okay, then it's okay. But if it's not okay, then you have to get a new battery. It's amazing now that they have delivery service for new batteries. So in case your battery is like conked out and you want to get a new car battery, they'll come with a new battery. I think Motorola, no, I forgot the name of the brand, Motolite. They have some delivery service for these batteries, I think. Of course, with a car, my dad taught me how to drive a car. That was kind of difficult because I remember I didn't attend any like school for driving, but my dad would make me go to like an empty road, and then we would practice driving forward and backward many times until I got a hang of it. But my difficulty in driving is like when you're backing up and parking. That's what I'm scared of, because I don't want to hit other cars. And what I really see nowadays is there are a lot of cars which have these cool systems that will already show you video of what's happening at the back and warn you if you're going to hit something. That's pretty cool. So he taught me how to drive. What else? Oh, when it comes to the car also, every year he would always bug me to go for car registration. Oh my gosh, this is what I really hated, to go with him. Then we go emission testing first, and then something about is it a drug test, or is that with LTO? I forgot. So anyway, you have to renew your car registration every year, was it? But I think they do it longer now. So I really despised doing that. I hated it so much. And then of course, driver's registration, LTO, driver's license renewal. I remember before it used to be every year. Then I think now it's every 2 or 3 years that you have to register for your driver's license. So I think it's improving, and the process is really fast. But my dad helped me go through that process as well. I think that's everything to do with cars. But at home, my dad taught me a lot of stuff. So like I know how to saw wood using the lagari, right? Saw wood and also saw metal using the metal lagari, then metal saw. So, and then of course he taught me how to use the hammer to hammer nails or tacks into wood, and then also how to use the screwdriver. Well, the screwdriver is kind of easy, but there are many kinds of screwdriver. You have the Phillips screwdriver, then you have the regular Phillips, I think, is the plus thingy, and then they also have the one that's like just the negative things, and then you have different kinds of wrenches also you can use for connecting things or unconnecting things, right? So my dad taught me how to use the plumbing wrench, the monkey wrench, and lots of other stuff, right? And what is this? Oh, and of course he taught me how to make sundot. So when your septic tank, or maybe the drainage or whatever is like stuck up and it's not draining properly, then you have your sundot. At home we had the small sundot, which is kind of small. It's coiled like that, right? For the smaller things. And then we have a gigantic, bigger sundot. It's really big sundot. I don't know what you call it here in the Philippines, but or what's the English term? But they would always make me do all the hard work. So you insert the thing inside the hole, keep on inserting it, and you have to keep on pushing it back and forth until it's already clear. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many times I've been doing that all the time, and my mom and my dad would both get me to do all this stuff. So, and they would be like the foreman, and I'm the one sundot again and again. It's like I thought it will never end. We spend like how 20 minutes, 30 minutes doing this thing until it's clear, right? I really despise that, especially like when you open the septic tank drainage area or whatever, you know, then all the roaches come out because they live there, you know. Even usually with houses, there's like a drainage that goes to the main drainage somewhere, and my dad would make me make sundot all the way. He says, oh, it's not yet at the end of the street. It has to be, the sundot has to go all the way to the end until it reaches like the sewers or something like that. So it was very stressful, and I was so scared that all the roaches would climb up on me. So I'd be so scared. What else did my dad teach me? Oh, here, to change the house screens, because in the Philippines we have, you know, there are mosquitoes and flies. It's a humid country, so at home, if we're not using aircon, usually we don't use aircon. You have like screens to protect from mosquitoes or insects from coming in. So usually like after a year or two, those screens become really brittle because of all the moisture and everything like that. So I would be the one to help and remove the screen from the window, as in really remove the screen door, and then remove the molding, remove all the tacks. You know how many tacks there are in just one screen? Remove all the tacks, remove the screen. We buy a screen from Libertad or somewhere out there, from hardware, and then cut it and put a new screen over, and then put all those tacks, the shoe tacks, back into the molding to fix the screen in place, and then put the molding in place, and then put the longer the longer nails in, and then finally put the screen back. Oh my gosh, that was very, very stressful. You know how many screens we have? It was very stressful just to do that, but I got used to it. And you know, every year since my dad passed, I was doing it with my mom also before. What else did I do? Oh, okay. And then from time to time, my dad would do some electrical stuff with some appliances, in case, you know, the wires or the sockets, not the socket, but the plug of the particular appliance is not working, and he found out that it's not connected at the end anymore, so you need to fix it a bit. So we would use electrical tape or a screwdriver to remove some screws, and then fix the wires again, and then put it back in, and it's gonna work again. So just minimal electrical stuff that we were doing also. And then for plumbing, my dad also taught me how to use Teflon tape, because like you can't just stick to male and female stuff together, because you know, if water goes through it, it's gonna find a way to get out from those connecting points. So you need to first put connecting a Teflon tape on the male part, and then that's the time you can screw it in, so that it makes sure that there's no room for water to escape, or whatever liquid goes through it to escape. Oh, my dad also taught me how to use a drill bit. So we had a drill bit and a drill at home before. So if we need to drill, what were we drilling before? I don't remember what we were drilling, but we were drilling stuff in the walls. Like if you want to hang something, my dad would make me do that. It was very. I was a kid before, and it was so tiring because my dad would try to make me drill into a wall and keep on push again. So, and then we would stick in that plastic thing and then the screw, so that you can hang something up there. That's all I remember from this drill bit. And then what else? The squeaky doors at home. If we have squeaky doors, you just have to use oil Usually we use, is it regular motor oil? I forgot, machine oil or something like this. We would use it to put it on the hinges so that you won't hear it squeaking anymore, right? You can just do it very quickly. And then I think that's it pretty much. That's all I remember what I learned from my dad. Pretty much all this stuff about cars and then plumbing, electricity, and and of course cleaning the roof. Like in the roof of our house, there's also like a tree would always, like star apples would fall on top as well as leaves. So he would make sure, my mom would make sure that we're always climbing the top of our house and manually removing all those leaves, because if you don't, all those leaves will go into your gutter. Like your roof, right, your roof is like that, and then the leaves are there. When it rains, there's like a gutter like that, so it all gets stuck here. Although the gutter will channel all the water into like an area where it will go down like a drain pipe, right? But the drain pipe can get clogged, and the weight of all those leaves on the gutter at the roof, of course, will the leaves are rotting, and of course the gutter might rot away too, or get rusty or whatever like that. So we had to remove it, and I even had to clean those gutters before. I had to stick my hand in there, and all the leaves are black and everything, and like there might be like termites or whatever in there. I had to remove all that stuff and junk. Remember, it was so stinky before. So that's the other thing I still remember that I would do. Anyway, I just want to say that when I was a young kid, I always disliked it when my dad always made me do all these things, because, well, as a kid, I just wanted to have fun, right? And you don't think about doing all these household chores or whatever, you know? So I always threw a fit. Why do I have to do this? I don't want to do this because I want to play, or I want to be lazy, or watch TV or something. So at the time before, my dad would not let me watch TV or do other things, right? So we would do all these chores around the house. But then when I look back nowadays, when I look back when I was like already working, when I look back at everything I've learned, all of the things I've learned has been really helpful in my life. So I'm really thankful my dad taught me all this stuff personally, because rather than going to like a school or doing some going to a technical school, I guess, or doing other stuff, I learned it from my dad. So I think that was what I really thank him for, right? At that time, when I look back, I realize that I'm really thinking I was very short-sighted, since I was really just looking into having fun, watching TV, playing with friends, playing with other kids around the area, but then I realized like I should have looked more into the long term so that I can appreciate what he was trying to teach me. That's what I should have realized more, that it was more for the long term. And like whenever like I had a flat tire before, I can easily change the tire, and my friends would be surprised, wow, you can change the tire, right? And sometimes when I'm traveling with them and they have a flat tire, I'm the one changing the flat tire, right? And even like, I forgot to mention like how to push the car and start the car while you're in, right? Someone's pushing the car, and then someone has to be inside and set the car like to second gear, and then press the clutch so that the car can move forward, and somehow release it so that the car will automatically jump start. I don't know how that works, but my dad taught me that too. And there are many times that my dad, whenever this happens, then I'm in the car. But when I grew older and my dad got older, then I'm the one pushing the car, right? So that's what I learned there. Wait, right. Let's see what else is there. Did I forget to mention something here? Yeah. So I'm really thankful. My dad's birthday was just recently here in January. So that's why I was thinking like, it's a good thing I can still remember this stuff, because when I think about it as I grow older, of course I'll forget all this stuff about my dad. But I really miss him a lot. He passed away in 1996, and I don't know. I was never able to say thank you or say I love you to him. Did I say I love you to him? I think I did say. I think I remember to say that before I was going to school, I actually told him that I loved him. You know. So I was really happy that I was able to at least say that to him. I actually never did say it to him much at all. But at that time, I don't know, something told me that I had to say I love you. And and on that particular day, when I think it was a day where we found out that we really passed our thesis. And after finding out, then that's the time I received the call that my dad was brought to the hospital. That's the only time, for some reason, I don't know, why did I tell him? Anyway, I just felt some overwhelming, compelling reason to tell him at that time. But I don't want to think about that much nowadays. But I just want to tell you that I really miss you a lot. And you were a really good dad to me and my brother. So as I miss you every day, I always think about the things that you've taught me. And I really thank you for that. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me. I've always had these things in my mind, but I really never. Sometimes I talk about this with some friends and stuff when they ask me about my dad and stuff, but I don't really go into in-depth discussion about what my dad has taught me and everything like that. But I wanted to record it for posterity's sake. You and your dad, you guys, thanks subscribers, if you and your dad might not have a good relationship, or you might be taking your dad for granted, or you might have a stressed relationship with your dad, I think you might add it to your New Year's resolution to think about your dad and try to reassess and see, think what if your dad's trying to make you do something, there might be a bigger motive for doing that, to help you do something in the future, right? And it's for your own good. If you're going to learn something out of it, then go for it, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you've had the same experience with your dad, or you want to share something about yourself, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. It's been a very tough year because of the coronavirus, and I don't know, I spent a lot of time thinking about my dad, my parents, since they're not with me anymore, and what will lie in the future. So I like to reminisce, but of course it's best to think about the present, because of course the present is where we're supposed to be, and we have to deal with the present right now. And just be thankful that the people in the past helped us make us become the person we are today, right? Anyway, over and out. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. I don't usually connect with you guys on this personal level, but I thought I might as well just talk about my experiences in the past. Who knows? Maybe it might help you. Hear from you soon. Take care. Over and out.